taught a little boy in my parents' ward. His name is Thomas Krishnek. He's in first grade. And the tool that I used was I used an online program just from the Illuminations website, and it was called Counting Cows. And I chose this one because it was very effective in teaching base 10 understanding, which is part of the core for the first grade. And in this game there are a bunch of cows, and let's say if it was 17 plus 9, that was the problem. It'd have like a column or like a little like square, like a pasture kind of, with 17 cows in it, and then another pasture with 9 cows in it, then a big empty pasture at the bottom. And what the point of the game was to put all of the cows in groups of 10, and so once you can put them in groups of 10, and that puts them in a little corral. And so you can, group the cows in a group of 10, then have the leftovers over, so you can see, oh, like, here's 10, 20, 30, or, 10, 25 cows, or whatever, and then count the extras, and then add them together. So, it's a very effective way of adding larger numbers by grouping into tens. And yeah, I chose that because it's, I feel like, a very helpful way to teach that. And it was also very engaging. I don't know, it's like a computer game. Kids love computer games, and this is a computer game, and it was fun, a fun way to do math. So looking back on my experience, I thought it was going to be engaging, and it was very engaging. I've never seen a child say, "Oh, I want to do another math problem." Like, I don't know. Unless kids just really love math, which I definitely didn't, and I don't really know very many kids who do, really crave to do math problems. But this program made it fun to do math problems. And so like it took him a few minutes to kind of figure it out. Kind of played around with it, clicked on the cows, they moved at it, and he laughed. But once he kind of figured out the system, he figured it out much quicker than I thought he would. How to group them and stuff, or like I guess like the logistics behind it, or like the technology part, like click this button to move the cows, click this button to group the cows, and where to move them. So we experimented with that for a little while, and then yeah, and then he just did the math problems, and he had so much fun doing the first one. He was like, oh, I'm gonna do another one. So he did the second one. He did it much faster than the first one because he had he understood the program. Then after the second one, he's like, I'm gonna do another one. So he did another one. He did even faster. And I asked him, like, do you use technology in your class, at school? And he's like, yeah, we use it. We played a cow game kind of like this before to do math. So I guess something that he was used to had been incorporated in his classroom. But overall, it was a very positive experience, and he really enjoyed it, and he was able to easily do math problems with two digit numbers. So that was great. He was able to group them to 10 and count by tens. That's awesome. Um, so I think the technology was effective at teaching the subject matter. It made it really easy to see the groups of 10 and to put the single numbers into groups of 10, and that's what the objective is in the curriculum. And so this game really effectively did that. And yeah, and it was very engaging because, like I said, kids like computer games, and this was, you kind of had to figure it out, like how to group it, and it didn't seem like he was doing math, to the very end when he counted them all up, because really he was just grouping them, and the cows would moo at you, and you had to move them around. So it was engaging in that way, like, it was a lot of almost like hands-on kind of thing, except it was on the computer. I don't know, but you moved it around a lot, grouped it a lot, and then did math at the end. And I don't know, I think that was very engaging for this little boy. And I also think it was efficient because to do this tactilely, like in a classroom, I did this with blocks. I remember doing this with blocks in my classroom. Um, and they could stick together, so you could separate them, and then once you got 10, you stuck all the blocks together. This would eliminate the need to buy blocks and to buy resources like that in the classroom. Um, it's I don't know if it would be able to replace that tactile experience, because I know that was really helpful for me as a tactile learner. But this definitely, if you could use this program or similar programs to teach base 10 understanding and to grouping and counting by tens. If you could use this program alongside of others, I think it could replace those resources that you'd have to buy. So overall, I think it was very efficient. The technology was pretty easy to use. The laptop he was using was kind of difficult to manage, but that was just because it was a laptop, it wasn't the program, but he did a good job with it. yeah, the only difficulties we ran into was that sometimes it would minimize, um, the screen would minimize because he was trying to do it with one hand on the laptop, and it would just get kind of confusing. But well, that was the only difficulty we ran into. There were no difficulties with the game. He had a good time playing around with it for a little while, and making him move and making him kind of like walk around and have friends. You know what I mean? Like, you two are gonna come on this side of the pasture and be friends. So that was fun. But he did do the math quickly, especially the second two problems. I would use this as a teaching tool in the future, probably more just for practice than for actual teaching. I think the actual teaching of the knowledge needs to be more tactile, I think, in the classroom setting. I don't think this is super effective in teaching how to count by tens or how to add, to group and then add together. I think that's something that needs to be learned beforehand, and then this is a good way to practice it. But yeah, so overall, it was a good experience, had a good time, and he did a good job. I think that's it.